I'm so sorry. Part 2. I don't even know what happened then. It just decided to just go on a Google. What's it called? Google co-pilot thing. Anyway, hello. My name is Asherah and welcome to my very unique PhD channel where I am researching mental health and conscious expansion. And the mental health in particular that I'm interested in is called DID, which is dissociative identity disorder / psychosis. And I'm comparing that with conscious expansion or Kundalini awakening or spiritual awakening, however you want to perceive it. With me, though, it's perhaps more shamanism, to be fair. But, you know, we're getting to that point now that we're in Peru and we have experienced that second set of shaman, high priest and priestess, etc. And still alive to tell the tale. In fact, it's our third set, actually. In fact, it's my fourth set. Oh my God, it's my fourth set. When I went to Ghana last year, February, I was with voodoo people, high priest, whatever. Then I went back to Ghana and was with, again, voodoo, high priest, voodoo men, whatever. Shamans, but more voodoo side of things. But still shamanism because they're channeling spirits. And then I went to Bali in November. It was a shaman family that I kind of stayed with, and drove around with. And then obviously this one now I'm in Peru with a bunch of fucking fake shaman and priest and priestess, whatever they are. Just a bunch of fake shit. So yeah, this is my fourth spiritual encounter. Yeah. Of working with people that consider themselves to be highly ranked, whether that be in the masonry, because a lot of them are in the masonry too, whether that be in spirituality. The interesting thing, none of them think they're Dondagans in religion, which is interesting. Okay, so I've had this dream tonight. I'm not sure what to make of it because I've never dreamed the people in this dream before in my entire life. So it wasn't a dream, it was more of an out-of-body experience and me on an alternative reality. Multidimensional, yeah? A multidimensional reality. I'm going to come this way because this hand's hurting me now. So it's like, I'm going to do it in 3 scenes, okay? I'm going to try to do it in 3 scenes if I can stop bloody yawning. So the first scene was I was in it looked like a park or a field, and the thing is the primary school where my children went to has got a field. They've got an actual field on the school site, but they've also got a field that it belongs to the school that you kind of have to walk down a path, and then you've got a massive field, and that's where they conduct sports day. So I'm on this field and there's something going on with the school Senko, which I have a massive problem with because through legal proceedings, when it came to childcare proceedings, she was a major problem in this. She was a problem before that because she closed rank and just refused to talk to me and communicate with me. She wouldn't tell me about my children in school. She wouldn't tell me about issues that I raised with her. It was literally no verbal contact, which is why I've taken my case now to the legal ombudsman. All right, so I'm not fucking about with these people. I'm taking the school, I'm taking the fucking local authority to court, basically. I've just won my case in the SEN Tribunal, which is Special Educational Needs Tribunal, and I've just won my case there after a year and a half of fighting. And now that I've won this, to say that my child's educational healthcare plan was not fucking fit for purpose, just like I've been saying since 2022. In 2024, the legal services of education finally agreed with me. Yeah. So that's where we are with that. No, sorry, not 2024. 2025, they agreed. So I've been fighting since 2022. In November 2024, I managed to get a hearing date. The hearing date was set for November 2025. So I had to wait a whole year for the hearing date. Then when it come around to the hearing date, I was in Bali dealing with these fucking dickhead fake shamans. I come back from Bali on the 6th of November and then went into court proceedings on the 7th of November. Okay, that's how deep this is. And then on the 24th of November 2025, the verdict came out and it was ordered that the education and healthcare plan was not fit for purpose, and actually these are the recommendations that need to be made, which was more or less changing all of the education and healthcare plan, and now I'm having to bust them up about it. So that's what's popping up. So also, or in addition to that, back in 2018, 19, I wrote a book with my children's school. I wrote the book and I got the school children involved in the book. And the book was about seeing cultural competency through the eyes of a child, because I'm a SENCO, which is a special educational needs coordinator. So I work with everything special educational needs, learning disabilities, autism, ADHD, moderate learning difficulties, severe learning difficulties, physical disabilities, visual disabilities. Do you know what I mean? Even other languages. So that's one of my specialities. But then on the flip side of that, at the time, I was also vice chair for an organization called BRIG, BRIG, which stands for Birmingham Race Impact Group. And it was very much about ensuring that institutions adhere to the equality and diversity laws, whether that be in schools, the council house, whatever. So that's what I was a part of. But I was also part of the school's parent committee called REI, which is the Race Equality and Inclusion Committee. And I was the chair of that group, with about 5 other parents, so there were 6 of us in total. So there was a lot going on in 2018, 2019, because in 2018-19 the school had excluded a black boy just a little bit older than my son. Says that he'd come into school with a knife, which he didn't. He came into school with a nail filer. Made allegations against him that later on couldn't be proved. And not only that, the little boy had been complaining about racial abuse for about 1.5 years in the school, and no action had been taken. So once it got properly investigated, Warsaw Local Authority had overthrown the decision made by the school to say that the boy was expelled unlawfully. So while that was happening, there was a divide between the school. Half of the parents agreed with the school's decision and half the parents didn't agree with the school's decision. So there was a big separation. I was the head teacher of King Solomon International Business School, which is a very, very large school. It's a nursery school, a primary school and a senior school, as well as a post-16, but we hadn't had post-16 children in there just yet, because we were 3-4 years old. So therefore the kids start in year 7 and then they're now in year 10 basically. So we didn't have any post-16 age students in the school. But anyway, that was the school that I was the principal of while this shit was going on. So I didn't even know half of what was going on, because I'm running my own school. I come to the primary school, I drop my children off at before school club, and I pick them up at after school club. So they're getting dropped off by 7 and picked up at 6 in the evening. So I wasn't involved in the passer in the school. But anyway, one day, a lady called Ange had stopped me to tell me what was going on with True and True's Pitney, because it's a very white community that we live in, a very prestige white community. The black community kind of, you know who's who in the black community, because we flock together, if you like. We always make sure we say hello in the morning if our paths cross and whatever. Plus, Ange and True had worked with me and my ex-husband from 2010. We put on a big event for one of our anniversaries, not wedding anniversaries, but business anniversaries. He'd been running a football club since 2004, and it was 2014, 2004, was it 2010 then, or 2014? You know what, it might have been 2014, because, no, it can't be 2014, because I was pregnant with Ty. And I had Ty in 2013. I want to say it was 2010 because the banners were out. Do you know what I mean? I want to say 2010, but they did start the thingy in 2004. So really, 10-year anniversary would be 2014. Whatever it was anyway, we had a big party. We hired out the whole of Aston Villa Football Club, which is a very well-known football club in the West Midlands. And we had it there. And Ange, she does all of that events planning and that. So she planned the whole event for us. And then True is a twin. And they dance and do performances, so they did a lot of the entertainment. And he's got a brother that is a deputy head, but he's not a deputy head. He does like business consultancy and that. And it was his son that was being accused of carrying a knife into school. So when Ange told me about it, I was like, "You're joking," because I've not experienced any racial discrimination thus far at the time with my children. But even though I knew the school well, I spoke to the head teachers and Senkos by first name because we're all in the same kind of education circle as head teachers. They had come to understand that I had been made the face of the national professional qualification for headships, because I finished the course in a few months, and the university had asked me to start to deliver the program. So now at the time I was training head teachers to be head teachers and blah 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 blah. So the head teacher of the primary school that my children go to had seen it, and that's when he was aware of what I was doing outside of school, blah blah blah. But we'd always spoke anyhow, because once you've got my children, I make it my business to know who the fuck you are, and I make it my business to be parent governor. So or at least on the PTA. So I had spent time on the PTA, making sure PTA is the Parents and Teachers Association, where you come together and plan what you're doing with the school, how you're going to raise money and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, let me not bore you. I'm giving you some background because the dream is about this. Okay, that's why I'm giving you the background. Otherwise, it wouldn't make sense to me tell you the dream. So, while we were on this, the REI, which is the Race Equality and Inclusion Committee, some shit had gone down with my son. I got home and my big son told me that my son had reported that some kids had been racially discriminative towards him, and he was upset by it. So when I spoke to my son, he confirmed it. So in the morning, I was thinking, well, usually the school would have phoned me, because my son's got autism. He's quite bouncy and up and down. So when incidents happen, I usually know about them, but no one had said nothing, or at least so I thought. So when I phoned Simon, the head teacher, I said, "Simon, listen, I've just been told," I can't remember if I called him on his mobile or on the school line, but whatever it was, Chrissy hadn't told him anything about it. So based on that, he wasn't sure if it had happened, because more time, he's saying, she would have told him, because their offices aren't too far away and they catch up at the end of the day, but she's not mentioned anything. So I said, all right then, I'll leave it with you. If anything in the morning, just give me the heads up. So by the time I got to the children's school, I hadn't heard from him. So I took the liberty to go into the school. And when I went into the school, Chrissy wasn't there. But when I came out the school, she was in the minibus. So I spoke to her and she was like, actually, Asha, it was true. A racial incident did happen in class. And the teachers, blah, 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 and whatever. So I said, well, how comes I didn't know about it? How come you didn't tell me? And she was like, because she didn't know until this point or whatever. So what was the protocol? I said, she goes, do you want to come in and have a conversation? I was like, yeah, I do. So when I went in and had a conversation with her, it transpired that no procedures in the school for reporting racial discrimination or racial abuse had been followed. Now, as a head teacher myself and understand school policies and procedures, legally, schools are supposed to do that. Yeah. And if schools aren't doing that, we need to understand why, especially when we already know that the school has had an incident with a boy about racial discrimination, and it was quite clear that the school had not been following protocols. That little boy had reported no less than 23 times a racial incident report to the school. How is a child and a child's parent reporting racial incident, racial disputes, racial discrimination and abuse 23 times and no action has been taken? What? Not my pitney a blood clot. So because I'm aware of all these failings in the school, I'm not expecting to see these failings now. And I'm especially not expecting to see these failings when it attains to my son. So when it's transpired in this room, Because my girl's so fake. She's all a bawling in the room, you know. What? Oh, I can't believe it. It's so horrible, you know. I don't understand why people are so racist. I'm like, you know what, girl, get over yourself. Racial abuse has been happening for centuries. What do you mean you can't believe it? It's not a new thing. It's not like it's new to your school. This is the world we live in. That's why we need to have policies and procedures in place to protect those that are at risk of being abused by it from it. But clearly, that's not what you've done. So the tears are crocodile tears. They're not real tears. They're crocodile tears. And I can clearly see that at the time. So I say to her, where is your flow chart? Because what should happen? When an incident is reported, there are certain procedures that staff should follow. Just like when there's a safeguarding procedure, it all gets funneled down a flow chart, as in, first of all, you do A, then after A, you do B, after B, you do C, after C, you do D, and after D, you do E. Does that make sense? There's a flow to it, but there's no flow here. So when I've asked her, show me your flow chart for racial incidents, she couldn't pull out one, even though she's the deputy head of the school, as well as the Senko. So in a nudge, at the time, I was trying to be non-judgmental. Also, I was the chair of the Race Impact Equality Group. And it was about finding and working with the school to help find better solutions and make better choices so that we could have better outcomes. So I've gone and said to her, all right, you don't have a flow chart. I'm going to design one for you. I'll put one together, and then, if anything, go through the staff training with the staff and ensure that they understand what the protocol is so that this doesn't happen again. So that's what I did. I designed a protocol, a flow chart for them for racial incidents, emailed that across to her. She had put it into formulated to the schools, logos and stuff like that. And I'd left it with her. And I had said to her, because we've got a meeting coming up with the parent committee, is it okay if I mention this at the meeting? And she said, yeah, no problem. So that's what I did. The parent meeting came up. The 6 of us sat down. I explained to them what happened, which was really disappointing to know that I'm the chair of the fucking race impact inclusion group and it's my child being racially impacted. But hey ho, we know that the school's got issues, so let's work on it together. So one of the other parents who'd been trying to get the school to take this committee and take their responsibility serious for the past 2 years before I started on the committee was just frustrated because she was like, I've sent them so many policies, I've sent them so many documents, and they're just ignoring it. But don't get me wrong, we had so this is after 2019, you know. So where are we? It must be 2022. Yeah, this racial incident with my son happened in 2022. So from 2020, my girl had been trying to get the school to take it seriously. But we had COVID in between, so COVID was being used as a major excuse for why certain things weren't happening. When COVID was happening, school was still expected to function because I was managing a school during COVID. In fact, I wasn't managing, well, I was managing, I was responsible for 12. I was responsible for, there was 1,200 kids in the school and I was responsible for 936 of them. As in, they came under EAL or SEND, you know what I mean? So you still had to follow procedures. I was working as an executive Senko over 3 different schools until March of 2020 when I just went into one school. Anyway, they'd not been following procedures. I'd mentioned it in the group. Lo and behold, 2 other parents reported that their child had had an incident in the last week or so. What? So there was my son who had experienced racial discrimination. A guy, one of the parents who had a disability, he was, what's the right word for it again? He was like a dwarf, yeah? He had dwarfism syndrome, and so did his daughter. And his daughter had been discriminated against in school, and something was said or something wasn't done, and the school hadn't reacted or responded properly. His wife doesn't have dwarfism, just him, but his daughter does. And his daughter is so sweet because my older daughter, when she used to attend the primary school, used to look after his daughter when she was in like nursery and that, you know, could they get the bigger kids to help out with the little kids in it to teach them responsibility when they get to year 6. So you know, we knew each other because of that thing too. And also his wife sits on the PTA, so I knew the wife too. So he was very upset. And then there was a mixed race mother on, in fact, she's not mixed race, she's white. She could be quarter caste, actually, I'm not sure. She's white, but she's with a black guy. So they have a mixed race daughter, and her mixed race daughter had experienced racial discrimination. So you had 2 racial discriminations and 1 special educational needs discrimination out of the 6 parents that were on the committee. Make that make sense. Make that make fucking sense. So obviously, this committee meeting that was held around the 18th of November 2022 was quite significant because 3 out of 6 of the parents had experience. So we writ out what we needed to write out. We discussed what we needed to discuss, and then I writ up the minutes. It's a fucking mosquito in here again. See what I mean? What's the point of freezing in here if you ain't killing them off? Anyway, I wrote up the minutes, sent them across to the school. Once the school had received the minutes, boom, lockdown. They don't want to chat to us no more. They don't want to chat to none of us. In fact, they've got the chairperson of the school to write us a letter shutting down the parent committee. At the time, I'm also writing a book for the school. I've held a book competition with the children. About 60 plus children have applied to the competition. I've chose 5 children out of the 60 competitions that were sent in. By that time, I've met with the parents. We're starting to articulate the book together. There's a lot of IP going on and all the rest of it. So we've got the committee. I'm involved in the parent committee, and I'm involved in a book for the school. And they've closed ranks on both things. They don't want anything to do with any of us. They've written a letter from the chairperson saying that they don't want us to have nothing to do with the school. They're shutting down the committee. They don't even have the right to shut down the parent committee. This is how absurd their behaviour has been. At the time, though, I'm going through my own bullshit with regards to divorce proceedings with my ex-husband, and I'm going through financial proceedings and childcare proceedings with him. So there's a lot on my plate. Plus, I'm still a chairperson for the brig. I've even brought the head teacher and the Senko to a brig event to learn about culture competency and see what's happening outside of school in order to gain support and all the rest from it. So anyway, when it all kicks off and the governor, the chair, sends that, I just think, you know what, I'm not gonna push up myself and beg these people to keep the committee open and to acknowledge and take accountability, because clearly these are narcissistic people. But also, during the racial incident with the other boy that was unlawfully excluded, things had got heavy. You know, the head teacher was being threatened. His life was at risk. Police had to be outside the school. Police had to be outside the school, and police had to be outside of his home, you know, because the parents were angry and they were annoyed of the outcome that had happened. And even though there was another side of parents that weren't angry, they was on the other boy's side, because obviously there was stories about him potentially being shanked, but all of that transpired to be a lie. A lot of it was made up. Do you know what I mean? When a full investigation happened, like I said, Warsaw local authority overturned the unlawful exclusion. So parents were angry, but angry for reasons that weren't the whole truth and nothing but the truth. You know what I mean? And then also, when you looked at the fact that the boy had reported 23 incidents of racial abuse with the boy that allegedly he was supposed to have shanked, you know what I'm saying? Nothing had been done to address that boy's behaviour. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who you are. If somebody is abusing you, and nothing gets done, sooner or later, you're going to snap. And I'm not condoning shanking, but if that never even fucking happened the way that it was said to have happened, then it's even worse. But it should never have got to that point anyway. That little boy who was racially abusing the other boy should have been addressed. There should have been education around racial abuse. There should have been education to stop that. Parents should have been called into school and mediation should have took place. So the school failed both those boys, as far as I'm concerned. Both the children were failed and both the parents were failed. And now we can clearly see that we're being failed to as parents of the committee. And that's the truth. So let me go into the dream now then. So I'm on this field, yeah, and this deputy head is on the field and there is a mob. There is a whole mob. They want blood from her. Whatever has happened in this dream, they want this woman. They want the deputy head of the school. And I'm on the field and I can see all the parents of my children's primary school on this field too. So then at some point, it's like she's having to run for her life, basically. This is how significant it is, because something has happened. And instead of it just being half the school on side, the whole school is on side together against her. What's interesting is that the head teacher is nowhere to be seen in this dream. It's all about the deputy head. So anyway, one of the parents turned and said to me, "Didn't you have a situation like this? Wasn't you involved in something like this where the school failed to take action, blah, blah, blah?" So I've gone, yeah. So she shouted out, "You see, look, Mrs. Rose had a problem, Mrs. Rose had a problem." So they all want to now know what my problem was. Because I've never discussed my problem with the whole school. I just took my children out of the school because I was like, there's no way I can continue for my children to proceed in this school knowing what I now know about this school. This school don't give a fuck about equality and diversity. They don't give a fuck about race. They don't give a fuck about culture. You know what I mean? It's a facade. That's what I saw. That's what I learned. That's what I had to come to terms with. And even though my children had been in the school for years and years and years, because I'd already had one child that had gone through the school from year 2 and was now in secondary school, and I've got 2 children coming through the pipeline, and it was quite clear to me that I can't keep my children in this school with these people. My children are not safe. I can't tell any other parent what they should do, but at the time I was in a war with myself: keep my children in school or take my children out of school. And I concluded I gotta take my children out of school. They are not safe here. The level of incompetence that I have witnessed, the level of incompetence that I am aware of now because I'm looking at the documents, the level of incompetence I've discovered because I'm having to write the documents for the school, I can't unsee it. Plus the overturning of the unlawful exclusion, plus all the evidence to suggest that the school took no action. Nah, man, these are incompetent people. So I quietly took my children out of school and started to homeschool them. So in this dream now, they're like, "See, come, Mrs. Rose has had the same problem." So now a crowd is gathering around me because they want to know what happened. This is the dream. They want to know what happened between me and the school, what happened between me and this deputy who is also the Senko in the school. So I start explaining to them my side of the story, which they've never heard. They only heard their side, the school side of the story. So now the parents are fucking shocked. They cannot believe that I have gone through what I've gone through and have been so calm and quiet about it, because obviously whatever's happened right now, the whole school is in uproar. They want blood. I'm telling you, it's like an absolute witch hunt. The energy of it is like a witch hunt. They want this woman. So as I'm explaining, more and more people are turning up. You can see them walking from across the field towards me, and it's almost like I'm on some type of, not stage, but some type of platform describing the circumstances around my experience. And the parents are like, you see, this is who she is. We can't put up with this. We can't tolerate this. It's all of that energy going on. So then it's like, I'm thinking to myself in the dream, rare, you know, this is a little bit scary. This is a little bit concerning. You know what I mean? The energy was, I could feel my nervous system while I was in the dream. I could feel anxiety. I wasn't sure how this mob thing was going to turn out. because the way it felt was like, because it's a dream and I know it's a dream, anything could happen. If they decided to go over there and do off with their head, it would have been off with their head, and that was the energy. In all honesty, it was the off with their head energy. It was like draw blood energy. So I'm looking at some of the parents in the crowd, and the parents are the parents, which is really weird because I've never dreamed these parents, and I haven't seen these parents since 2022, really. So we're in 2026 now. So we're talking 4 years. So I don't understand how I can still remember certain faces of parents that I didn't even chat to. Some of them, not all parents I chatted to, because remember, I'm in at 7 in the morning, and I'm back out, and I'm not back there until 6 o'clock. So some parents I wouldn't even cross paths with, you know. So for me to be seeing their face in the dream, it's a little bit like, wow, this wasn't a dream. This was a multi-dimensional reality. This was like ESP, extrasensory perception. So anyway, seeing changes, and the parents have heard what I've got to say, and now some of them are walking in the direction towards where the last seen this woman, and some of them are walking into the direction of the school. Oh. So okay, so now it's, is this scene 2 or scene 3? This is scene 2. So now a man with glasses have come up to me. They were still on school site, but I recognize that this man is not from school. This man is my old next door neighbor when I used to still live in Sutton, in the Four Oaks area, near a school called Arthur Terry. And he was my neighbor. He was always spying. He was always watching, him and his wife. And they've got like 2 children, a boy and a girl. The little girl was like 4 and the boy was 2. They were so cute. His wife was at the mob thing. Yeah, she was one of the women, the mums at the standoff in the field where they all wanted blood. But at the time, even though I'd seen her face, I had took her as being one of the mums in the school. It wasn't until later on, when he appeared, did I realise, no, they weren't at the school. They were neighbours across the road, but they're still in the school scenario. So he wants a private conversation with me because whatever's gone on, his daughter or child is involved. So now we're in the second scene, and in the second scene, I'm back in my old house, not the house I live in now, the house where he was the neighbour across the road. But in this particular scene, he's the neighbour next door to me. He's not across the road, he's next door. So when I'm looking out my bedroom window, I can see him talking about coming over to my house to knock my door, to ask me more questions about what's happened to him and me in the past, so that he can draw a conclusion. So that's what he's outside talking to his wife. I'm going to knock the door. I need to know. Yeah? So as I'm walking down the stairs, like I'm going to open up the door to him, this is now scene 3. There's a man at my door with a clipboard in his hand. I didn't even hear my door knock. You just see me coming down the stairs of the house where the stairs were. And because it was a glass door, one was a patio and one was the front door, but you can see through it. I could see that there was a man there. He's got on like a green visibility, whatever you want to call it, over his clothes. He's got a clipboard. On the clipboard, there is green illuminous writing. And it's almost like saying like GPT, GBD. I don't even know. It could have been GPSR, GDPR, some data survey, I don't know. But the man was out there with the clipboard. So when I've clocked the man halfway down the stairs, I've bent and ducked, because I could also see the neighbour through the glass too. But the neighbour hasn't approached the man, and the neighbour hasn't approached my door. The neighbour's just standing almost like in the driveway of his house, being patient, waiting for the man to finish what he's doing. The man's writing up something on paper. He doesn't end up posting it through the door. He's just writing up something on paper, maybe to say that he's been there, he's knocked and nobody's answered, I don't know. But I can see 2 men outside the door in the dream. So the man with the clipboard and the green visibility, the high visibility jacket and whatever he's got on the clipboard, starts to walk off. And the man with the glasses, the neighbour, he's still standing there waiting for the guy to go. And then eventually he comes out and he knocks the door. And that's when I wake up. Also, what I missed out, during when I'm doing the talk in the field, I'm hearing some of the parents whispering to each other, saying, "Who's that?" Because not everybody knows who I am, as the crowd's appearing. And somebody turns around and says, she's the woman with many names, many faces, many names. She's called Asherah, she's called Asherah, she's called Isis, because my name was Asherah when I was at the school. But then in 23, sorry, I changed my name by default to Asherah. My name was Asherah from 2021. If you look at my YouTube video, it was set up in 2021 and it's called Earth Angel Asherah. But legally, I changed my name in 2023 to Asherah. So they was like, she's the woman with many names and many faces. And that's what I remember hearing that. So that was my dream. So yesterday when I was listening to a reading, it was saying that there's an angry mob coming towards someone. I think it was Bronwyn. I can probably find the reading where she's like, this looks like an angry mob coming towards you. So it was interesting that I've had a dream about a mob, but the mob weren't angry with me. The mob weren't coming towards me. The mob wanted my advice. They wanted my experience. They wanted me to give my opinion. They wanted my help. Yeah. One moment, because I just got I've just seen that I've got a voice note. Let me just see what she's saying. Okay, the link.
Hey, my darling, of course I can book you on, that's no worries. I'll just need some details from you, card details, or I can just send you over the link and you can quickly book yourself on. Use your Apple Pay, just put your details in, click the date, and then just pay online, and then that way you secured that slot, because the 12th of Feb is looking very, very busy, but I will also be at that event, so I will make sure that everything's sent over to you, and I will take great care of you, and I can't wait to meet you.
Hi Layla, that's absolutely fine. Then once I get an opportunity, I'll fill out the link and sort everything out, and I'll also text you to let you know that it's done. I will be back in the UK by the weekend, all right? So I will definitely make sure everything is done by then. Thank you, and looking forward to you taking care of me. Take care, bye. That's nice. Oh yeah, I was showing you something on YouTube. Bronwyn Cove Tarot did a reading yesterday that I watched. You can see that it's in my history. I'll turn the camera down, round.
To the 520 men over 40 who bought the health pod yesterday hoping to drop the beer gut, I'm sorry. I said it was...
There is somebody that is coming towards you they're coming quickly and they're coming stealthily and they have information to give you. And I got the vision of Whoopi Goldberg in Ghost when you hear that message and it goes, "Oh, you in danger, girl." That's what I'm seeing here. I'm not saying that you're in danger, but it feels like not this person coming forward.
I don't know if this is the right reading, you know.
To do a sneak attack. Now, I don't know if that's in the legal field, like, you know, trying to sue you. If that is physical, I hope it's not. I don't know if that's spiritual. Just that you need to defend yourself. This person coming forward, they're coming forward in armor. So they're coming suited and booted, but they're moving in silence. They're moving quietly. We have the Six of Cups here. All fun and... Why do I hear all fun and games is finished? It was all fun and games until something happened. Then we have the Emperor. Now, the Emperor can be a business owner or somebody who's very influential. Very influential. This person is very grounded in facts as well. Because this root chakra here, earthy, very earthy, could be Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, or those three areas may be very important in this person's birth chart, maybe in yours as well. They have, I don't know if they have a proposal for you.
I don't know if this is the right one, you know, but was it even Bronwyn then?
that they're bringing forth. Like they are spilling some tea, because we have here the Two of Swords. So confusion or doubt has been removed, completely removed, without a shadow of a doubt. I keep hearing that saying, without a shadow of a doubt. And then we have the Nine of Wands underneath. Okay, this is defending yourself, boundaries, fighting for what is yours. Okay, what are they coming to tell you? What do we need to know? What do we need to be defending ourselves on? Okay, a new beginning. They may be offering you something. I have not them, someone else. So there may be an offer coming in. And I don't know if they're warning you of this offer. They're definitely warning you of some sort of setup. Tell me about the Four.
I'm not sure if it was her, Bab. I need to go in my history because it was last night, so it's got to be, because it's saying that's 11 hours ago. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong, I didn't.
Who's that girl? Na 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 na. She's a seer. Na 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 na. Hi, soul seekers. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Desire. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for all the love and support. I appreciate each and every one of you. We're going to get right into this energy and see what the messages are for you all at this time. Show me clearly, please, and thank you, Father. What are the messages for the soul seekers? All right. So you have the Sun as the first card out here. All right, the Sun. And then you have the Queen of Cups and the Magician. All right, let's see. Let's get two more. The Eight of Pentacles here and the Nine of Pentacles. Wow. All right, so first of all, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. It definitely looks like you're protecting your heart. You're protecting your peace.
I don't think that was it either. Oh my God.
Who's that girl? Na 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 na. She's a seer. Na 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 na. Hi, soul seekers. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Desire. Thank you so much for being here. All right, you have someone. Okay, so the energy that is out, you have fright, good news, gain, stubbornness, and blessing. Just pulled the energy. I haven't really set with it, so just give me a moment. Yeah. Someone's worst nightmare is coming to pass. All right, someone is living their worst nightmares, what I'm getting here, and it's so fucking sad because their worst nightmare is connected to your success, your fortune, your favor, your abundance, your gain, all things good and happy and successful and prosperous and abundant in your life. This is someone's worst nightmare. Or definitely multiple people, definitely more than one person here, but yeah, this is their worst nightmare. And it's like they refuse to still accept something. Who's that girl? Na 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 na. She's a seer.
She's a seer. Sorry, I should have mentioned that. But you can see it there anyway, innit?
Welcome back to the channel. My name is Desire. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for all the love and support. It is truly appreciated. So you have someone here who is rushing, or maybe they were rushing in the past. This could be someone who moves too quickly. They react before they think. Someone who will do some things impulsively, some things that they can't take back, and then after it's done, it's like they'll sit back and reflect on their poor behavior, their bad decision making. Hi you guys, it's the Ascended Feminine. I have a very interesting reading for you guys today.
Ascended Feminine too.
This is coming from a very grounded place, and that feels really good. I feel really good, really great delivering this message. So let's get into some things. Collective, you have a lot of attention on you right now. It feels like pressure almost, collective, but I think that you are mistaking that. Some of you guys can feel this attention, whether if you literally, if you can see that people are watching you, maybe you can, or maybe you can just feel it.
Like, you can feel it energetically that there's a lot of attention on you at this moment in time. And some of you guys are used to attention meaning something very negative. But what I can see, collective, is that you guys have reached like hero status or something like that. You've reached some sort of status, collective, where you have a lot of people having eyes on you. We have the success card coming out. You have a lot of people having eyes on you because of the things that you have overcome.
No, I can't find it. Not meant to be. I listened to a reading yesterday that was talking about some type of mob coming towards you, that they want to try and make allegations towards you, sue you. I can't remember what it was, something like that. I thought it might have been significant to this. Aye. Fuck me, blood. Tired? Well, I'm not tired. I'm yawning, and this fan's too cold now. I've had enough. So I'm gonna put a pin in that, but just to let you know that I have had a dream about the children's school, about the parents at the school, and about it being linked to something. Somebody's going to want to come to me and ask me questions about what happened, what went on with the school, because they're going through some stuff. Give me 2 minutes. In fact, you can have it in the bathroom. You can have a look at what it looks like and be said, see, there's another mosquito flying around. I just saw it. Just saw it, you fucker. Yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, I just want to put a pin in the fact that I've had a dream about my children's school, about parents at my children's school that I haven't spoken to or seen in about 4 years. I've never dreamed them before, but for some reason I'm dreaming them on the 22nd. 2022 is a very significant number for me too. I've got 22 on my body. Lots of things happen on the 22nd of different months, to be fair. So it's interesting that on the 22nd of January, I'm having this dream. But like I said, I do want to try and record all my experiences because, believe it or not, they do start to make sense as you start to piece them together. So what they are bottom must have become a top. But basically what that dream was saying to me is that the day of recognition, am I saying recognition? Is that what I actually want to say, Spirit? But it didn't sound like that. Yeah, okay. The day of recognition is coming. Yeah. I've been accused, prosecuted, blamed, scapegoated for a number of years, and I've not retaliated in a way, and I don't need to. But you see, right about now, with my ancestors and the divine, everybody who done me something is being dealt with. Judgment Day, justice is being served. So yeah, I just want to put a pin in that. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.